good evening, and welcome to this week's episode of Crypto City. Super excited for tonight to be one of our training weeks. I think this one will be a big interest to new world creators and experienced creators alike. We're going to be doing a training on SkyBoxes, so it'll be super exciting. But before that, I'd just like to take a moment to acknowledge Martin Luther King Day. Tonight, as we focus on progress and purpose and the pursuit of change, we also honor the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King today. And Dr. King is often remembered as a hero, a champion of civil rights, nonviolence, and equality, all very important things to each of us as individuals and as a community. But his legacy is more than just a highlight reel. It's a complex and profound call to action. He believed in nonviolent resistance, in using peaceful protests and civil disobedience to challenge injustice. He envisioned a world where everyone, regardless of race or creed, would stand on equal ground. And he sought moral revolution, one that would replace hatred and war and violence with unity and compassion and justice. He was a champion of education, healthcare, community, fair wages, quality schools, and access to pretty much all basic human rights for everyone. But his journey wasn't always met with applause. And, he was not without finger pointing going on back then as well as now. But his vision still persists as a guiding light in the world that we still have work to do to get to where we should be. But, he had the vision for us. His legacy challenges us to do more than just, act with courage and integrity and hope. And here within the metaverse, we have a unique opportunity to build bridges, to foster inclusion. And we have, we have spaces that we can create where his vision of equality can really thrive. So let's use this virtual world that we all belong to collaborate and connect and to make his dream a reality in a different way, not just in the metaverse, but beyond, crossing platforms here. So, that's just really important to the foundation of all of us as a core, whether it's in the physical world or in the metaverse. But before we bring out tonight's guest, I also want to mention a few community things, some that tie into our sponsors as well. So starting with DJ Marcus J., the head of Mr. Block Party Radio, last week we mentioned that the Metaverse Music Conference is coming up in February on the 25th to the 28th. And last year, this was a huge hit. It involved many from both the music community, people who work within entertainment here in the metaverse. And this year's conference is already deep in planning with a combination of artists and panelists ready to discuss hot topics about music, performance, and the future of music in virtual reality, augmented reality, and crossing platforms. So next, we want to actually congratulate Tinker Love 1980 here in the audience. She, along with her co-host, Meta Publicist, aka Peeps, they have been hosting Good Morning Soapstone over Meta Horizon Worlds and have now been named the official hosts and becoming an iconic face of the venue that everybody knows over there in Horizon Worlds. So congratulations. And don't forget, she's also co-hosting her weekly show, Sisters for Sisters, along with Peeps and with Ferrari, Monet, and Goddess with the Big Z. Tomorrow night, there'll be an episode, and I'm very excited to be included on the panel for tomorrow night's discussion. So if you guys are around, come check it out over in Horizon. Also, last week, her podcast was now launched on Mr. Block Party Radio, holding the Thursday night spot at 11:30 time slot. So it's great to see people in the community working together on all different levels. So there's two different sponsors doing two different things, collaborating to bring more to the community. And actually, speaking of which, Ferrari, who is not just one of the Sisters for Sisters, she's been working hard as club manager here in the metaverse, earning her the title of the COO at Sky Song, which is the adult nightclub and lounge created and owned by our other sponsor, Kip VR. So Kip is the world builder for this beautiful studio and also for the set of The Sampler, where he's been a competitor, a champion, and a judge in addition to the world builder. And this started the newest season for the sampler this past Saturday, the resolution season. And if you're not familiar, the sampler is a competition in which producers and artists, they compete to create the best new song from a sample. And this time it'll actually be Michael Jackson's iconic Beat It. So this one's sure to be an amazing one using such a classic song. So many creative things going on with our community, and this is just a few to mention. So if you're new to the metaverse, or you're listening to us on YouTube and you're interested in coming in and finding out things to do, take the time to look around, get acquainted with people, check out Instagram VR accounts, and get involved. If something seems exciting to you or interesting, ask about it. And if you need guidance, you can always reach out to any of us here at the show. And there's also plenty of us in the community that are willing to, take you by the hand and make the connections that you need to meet people in here to help you guys all be successful on your own levels. So speaking of people who do a lot within the community, let's get ready to learn some tips and tricks about SkyBoxes here in VR chat. And we're going to bring out tonight's guest. So please help me welcome Ryan Everlucent. Ryan, please join us. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. Go ahead and grab a seat. Oh, of course. Thank you for being here. So you've actually been around in VR a very long time, and you were someone that we met. I met originally over in the alt space playground that we all had when we came in here. And you've done a lot of different things, but you're a role model and a mentor here in the metaverse for world building and training people with different skills. And I'd really like to know a little bit about, your style and what inspires you with the things that you build here, and why do you like helping the community?
I got into world building, which the part of the video will explain. But my favorite thing in VR specifically is making movie themes. I really like
Okay.
to make movie themed worlds, and I do it on purpose because when I build something that's based off of a movie, it doesn't. I don't have to use super amounts of creativity. I'm more of a realist than I am an imaginative person, and I like to take things from a movie and try to copy a scene the best that I can, or try to give you at least the impression that it's part of that movie, which is why I use that as a way of teaching, to get a group to build different movie scenes so that you can kind of one day one of my classes will actually build the proper way where we go from one scene to the next and actually tell a story. But most of my students, what they end up doing is just picking their favorite scene, and sometimes people pick the same scene or so forth. But I'm really here because I want to encourage people to grow in the metaverse, and I want to encourage people to build in VR because I see the potential and I see the future, of how social virtual reality could really shape the world. It's a great collaborative space. It's a great place to have a show like the one we're having. We hang out, we act as an avatar, it's like with the headset, it's almost a physical connection, even without being there. I could be in my living room and still have what feels like a real human connection. And it really is, because I have best friends in here, and I have one of them, Mr. Emperor Joker, here I've known him for 5 years. And if you guys know Disney Mom, I talk to her every day. I mean, I've grown to have real, true friends here in the metaverse, and I really enjoy just the interaction. But I'm here. What I really like doing is movie themes. That's my favorite thing to do.
Nice. I love that. And I love that you talk about the community and the friendships and stuff, because, there's a lot of people in here that are working very hard and creating either their physical world business in the metaverse, or they're in here starting new businesses. But along the way, there are definitely some great relationships that are made, friendships that are made. And I know that a lot of people, even people here in the audience right now, there's a lot of people that have met in the physical world because the connections are so strong here in the metaverse. And it's a wonderful thing to, meet someone and connect on that level, because we have the opportunity to meet people from all over the world. And there's definitely, going to be times where you come across someone and you just click. And it's wonderful to have that kind of availability of, friendships in here, as well as business partnerships.
Exactly. And I've kind of just found a niche that I really enjoy. I really enjoy building, and I like the virtual reality is my life. And I'm in Unity 100 hours a week.
Wow.
And
Okay.
I super enjoy building 3D art and 3D creations. I'm not the best artist, but I'm an IT guru. I owned a home theater company for 20 years. I've been programming Crestron, AMX, and advanced home theater remotes, and it was 2D graphics, and it wasn't too hard to learn the three-dimensional side of it. And so I just grew into it, and I really enjoy it.
So this, the training that you're going to do for us today, it's on SkyBoxes. Before we get to that, what is your favorite world that you've ever built?
Well, see, here's the problem. A lot of people probably would judge my builds because I'm a teacher, right? I teach. All of my worlds are educational pieces. I'll be showcasing how to make something animate, or how to make a skybox, or how to make something. And so the rest of the world isn't to par, because I just built a 6-week long, world to showcase a specific thing or something like that. So a lot of my worlds are not the best, but the favorite one that I'm working on right now is called the Overserved Airstrip. It's not fully ready yet, but it is already public. But when I'm done with it, it's going to be a multi-purpose club that'll be a karaoke world, a movie world, a place to fly, drive cars, and go and explore, or just chill and hang out. So that's currently in the works, and that's what it will be when it's done. But right now it's an empty building with a bunch of fun toys to play with.
It's an amusement park.
Yeah, exactly.
That's great. Now, having built cross-platform, what's your favorite platform that you built in, or built for, I should say?
Well, AltSpace. I miss AltSpace. I miss AltSpace dearly, because specifically for the purpose of teaching, I was able to share my screen instantly from my computer. There's other platforms that you can do that with. And unfortunately, VR chat's just not there yet to be able to share your screen instantly. There are some services that you can use, but they're like VR CDN. It's still a 7-second delay. It's not quite perfect. Right. And so AltSpace was my absolute favorite. But when AltSpace closed, the first place I went to was Spatial. And Spatial had all those same aspects for education, being able to share my screen. The problem that I had in Spatial was that it wasn't really a social platform. It was more of a website where you had to cross communicate with people off the platform to bring them in. And so I finally decided to move into VR chat, because it's way more social. You can see where your friends are. They can invite you. You can invite them. You can go different levels of security. And so this really is the best platform to be in. And I'm just really hoping that they eventually update to an instant screen share program. Once they do that, I think everything will be fine. And maybe the possibility of using kits like we did in AltSpace to be able to decorate. Right now, you have to, here in VR chat, you have to build everything into Unity. And so that has been a pain, because most of the time I was building templates and I was letting people in AltSpace decorate their world the way they wanted. Now I have to do the decorating.
Yep. Yeah. It's funny for the audience members who weren't part of AltSpace, because I know that obviously it's been several years and everyone's like, hey, it's over, move on. The technology exists out there. Microsoft took it away from us. For people listening to this podcast on YouTube, and if there's any sliver of hope that this podcast ever got in front of somebody who happened to be on the Microsoft team, We want it back. That's all. Just bring it back.
Right.
We'd be happy. You know, it was a great technology. And you talk about the VR CDN and the lag. Well, that is part of the reason why we do like we did tonight. You're going to show us a video that's pre-recorded because we've tried to do trainings in here with the video live and you're talking and it's not caught up yet and it gets very confusing for the audience.
Correct.
So instead we've started doing these videos thanks to Second Life Rich, who kind of did it one day and we were like, hey, this is a great idea. Let's just do it that way instead. So, I mean, it would be ideal to be able to have live broadcasts that did not have lag. I mean, a second maybe, but not the 7 to 10 seconds. It really, it takes away, it detracts from it. And as far as the kits go, that was amazing too, because you could make kits and bring them in on the fly. So you could just through the SDK, create a kit over here, upload it while you're in the world, bring it down, plop it down, and you could have your own furniture that was different. And like you said, templates. Everybody could have the exact same world decorated 30 different ways because they did it their own way. It was wonderful. So, I mean, it's just one of those technologies that if we can't have it back in the actual AltSpace app, just give that technology to the powers that be so we can have it in all these other apps, basically.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I agree. But until then, I'm here to stay, folks. So I'm here to better the metaverse, better VR chat, and VR chat is my home. And so thank you guys for welcoming me in here and the interview. I'm just honored to be here.
Of course. So we are going to set up the training video. I'm going to tell the audience, if everyone, I know a lot of people in here might go to different worlds throughout and you might turn your world volume down because some have loud music and everything. So you want to turn your world volume up if you want to be able to hear the video. And also, if you have any questions, Ryan can answer them after the video, but if it is something that is specific to what's happening on the screen and you're like, hey, I've been having this problem in Unity, this isn't working for me, raise your hand. I'll keep an eye on the audience and we'll pause it for a second to address the question. Otherwise, if we can save the questions to the end, we can have Ryan answer them on a one-on-one basis. It'll be a little easier just so we can get through the video. And we will be putting this out on our Discord and on YouTube. So if you want the instructions on how to do what he's saying in here, you will be able to access that afterwards. Probably by Wednesday, we'll get it up and live for everybody so that you can have access to it. Okay?
Awesome.
All right. So Blue, whenever you're ready, we can start playing the video.
Welcome to the Everlucent think tank, where creativity meets VR dreams. Let's make some magic, y'all. In a world where code meets art, we're building worlds, we're making sparks. Tuesday nights, we grab the mic, sing our hearts out till it feels just right. Unity on Saturdays, coffee in hand, building dreams with a steady hand. Join the crew, we've got a plan. Unity classes, movie nights hand in hand. Karaoke echoes through VR skies. Everlucent think tank, where ideas rise.
Hey everyone, I'm Ryan, aka Everlucent. I'm so excited to be here today for this 30-minute lesson on how to make a skybox in Unity for VR chat. We're going to cover some key elements, tips, and tricks to help you create immersive elements for your VR worlds. But before we dive in, I want to take a moment to thank CityGirl for inviting me to be part of your Crypto City interview. It's always an honor to connect with passionate creators and share what I've learned. My journey into virtual reality started during COVID. When the COVID shutdown happened, when I discovered AltSpace VR. Like many of us, I was searching for ways to stay connected and creative during an uncertain time. And AltSpace opened up a whole new world of possibilities for me. It wasn't long before I realized the potential of Unity to bring ideas to life in VR. And that's when I started diving deeper into learning and eventually teaching Unity. A big part of my journey is shaped by my role as a full-time assistant for my mother, who has Parkinson's disease. Caring for her has given me a profound appreciation for how technology can bring joy and connection, even in challenging circumstances. That's also why I advocate for the Michael J. Fox Foundation, which does incredible work for Parkinson's research. In fact, a few classes ago, you might remember that the Everlucent think tank built a Back to the Future themed VR chat worlds in honor of the foundation. Now, it was a truly special project for me, blending my passion for VR, my commitment to raising awareness for a cause close to my heart. Now, let me introduce you to the Everlucent think tank. It's a community I started to help people learn the basics of Unity and VR development in a fun and supportive environment. We hold classes every Tuesday night at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and Saturday mornings at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we work together to build movie-themed worlds. It's a collaborative space where beginners can get hands-on experience while exploring their creativity. In addition to our group classes, I also offer one-on-one sessions to help students with their specific projects. My goal with the Everlucent think tank is to make Unity accessible to everyone and to inspire people to bring their ideas to life in VR. It's not just about learning a skill, it's about building a community and empowering others to create immersive experiences that connect and inspire. With that said, let's get started on today's lesson. I'll be showing you how to create a skybox in Unity, which is a crucial element in building stunning and immersive VR chat worlds. We'll walk through downloading assets, customizing your skybox, and even fixing common issues to ensure your world looks seamless. So let's dive in. So thanks for having me. All right, so I'm going to do a brief introduction on SkyBoxes. So if you give me a second, get this PowerPoint up and running here, and we will go right to it right here. So I'm going to do a brief little introduction on SkyBoxes, and here you go, click the next slide here. All right, so we're going to first, obviously, we need to navigate on how to install Unity. So I'm going to walk you through some of those steps, but I'm just showing these PowerPoints so that we can kind of go through these one step at a time, and then we'll come back to them as we go. But the first thing you need to do is you need to navigate to the VR Chats website. Now, at the VR Chats website, you can go to just vrchat.com, and it should look like this. So what you're going to do is you're going to jump in or log in to your account, which I've already done for you. And so here we are logged into the VR Chat website. Now, what I like to do is I like to read the documentation on everything. I'm self-taught in Unity, so I've learned by reading the manual. And then, obviously, I've found people who are way smarter than me that know more and can help teach me. So I encourage you to find people that can inspire you as well. But the first thing I would always recommend to do is go, if you're wanting to build specifically in VR Chat, is go to the VR Chat website and click over here on the top right. Once you've logged in, you'll see a Docs page. Now on the Docs page, all I would like you guys to do is follow the instructions from start to finish. So you're going to go and click Get Started, and when you get started, you're just going to follow these steps. So as you're following through these steps, you're going to see that there is an Install Creator Companion and read the Creator documentation. Now this class is about teaching you how to build a skybox in Unity, so we are definitely not going to be going through all of those steps. So if you would like to learn how to do that, that is part of the syllabus that I've offered. If that's something you're interested in, you can know that, but please know that the documentation is there for you to read, and you can go and see how to install all of that software. Once you have installed the software, and here's all, worlds and things like that. Once you have installed that software, you will see something called the Creator Companion. Now we're going to go ahead and switch over to the Unity project that we're working on. And you'll see that I have a Creator Companion project. Now, I've already created a world temporarily here because just for the time difference, I didn't want to show you all the lengthy steps on how it goes to it is a lengthy process to install the software, get it all up and running, as well as uploading and things like that. So I've done a few things in the background in order to help assist us in the timing that we have for this class. Now, once you have the Creator Companion loaded, it should look something similar to this. Of course, if you're just starting off, you won't have any projects in your system, but all you need to do is start by hitting the Create New Project. Now, when you create the new project, what we're going to do is specifically, since now we are into the highest 2022 version, I would click on the Worlds 2022. Now, I do need to mention that I am not an avatar builder. I am a world builder. So I build maps and I build, little, terrain features and things like that. I like to play around, but avatar building is not my strong suit. So I love to refer people over to Swifty Gaz, who teaches a Blender course and can teach you how to build Unity VR chat avatars that you can then bring into the program. But anyway, so clicking here on the worlds and then create your name your project. So click 2022 Worlds, create your project. And once you've done so, you can scroll down and click the Create Project button. Now, I've already created a project, so I'm not going to wait for that time to take effect. So I've created something here called Skybox Demo. Now, once you've created your world and you've given it a name, just know that whatever you name it here in the Creator Companion is strictly for your information, not for everybody else. So this is information that's only going to be stored for your file structure, and also make sure that it's stored somewhere in your hard drive that you know where these files are going. Now, there are some things you can do by clicking the Manage Project button. When you click on the Manage Project button, you will notice that it has, by default, these three official VRC worlds. You've got the package and the SDK base. Make sure that those are up to date. Personally, I recommend not to use anything that's in the beta. So if you see anything that has the beta option on it, if you're just starting off, I recommend not to use those. So just keep it to the latest version that's not beta. But if you do want to play with the beta and you know what you're doing, more power to you. It's just a personal recommendation. Now, there are a few little added extras that you might want to add throughout the time. Something like Easy Quest Switch, the VR World Toolkit. The VR World Toolkit is something I use every day. Audio Link, VR Labs Instancer, and then the Easy Quest Switch just kind of helps switch between Quest and PC back and forth, but it's not exactly required. Those are made by a third party, but they're kind of partnered with the Creator Companion. Now, for this scenario today, we're only going to use the three top officials just for this demonstration purpose. But it doesn't hurt to add these other 4 options that are there. And there's plenty other options that you can get from GitHub and so forth later down the line as you go. But now, since I already have my project open, normally there would be an open project button. But instead, mine says bring to front. So when I bring it to the front, you can now see that we are looking at our Unity project. All right, guys. So we're going to continue on through this PowerPoint real quick. And you can see that we are going to talk about importing free Skybox assets. This is going to take about 6 minutes. I'm going to explain how to access the Unity Asset Store, how to search for and download some free assets from the Unity Asset Store, and how to import the assets into Unity. And I'm also going to be going over a few other little elements, which I will show. I'm going to do all this in one. So we're going to be going over the Envato elements, which is something I highly recommend as a resource, which allows you to get commercial-free or licensed commercial use images and show you how to go and find those. But some of these cost money, but not all of them. So if you want to do things for free, I'll definitely be explaining that as well. And so then we're going to go to importing the download a city. We're going to be downloading you could download a city panorama, things like that, if you're looking for a specific city that you're looking for. But I like to play with something else, which is AI skyboxes. So I'm going to go over that here in just a little bit. But if you're looking for a city or something like that, Envato Elements is really something that I recommend. That's envato.elements. Well, we're going to pull it up, so I'll show you that website. And we're going to talk about sometimes if you guys have ever seen the line down the middle when you're building, when you have a skybox. I'm going to show you how to remove that line. It's not always perfect, but it should help for some of the tips that we're going to go over. And so that is my quick little PowerPoint presentation. So the first thing I'm going to recommend is that you go to what's called the Unity Asset Store. Now, if you don't know the website, you can just Google Unity Asset Store, but it's assetstore.unity.com. Now, once you're at the unitystore.com or the assetstore.unity.com website, what you're going to do is click on the top right button, and right up here, you're going to see the little login button, and you're going to log into your specific Unity account. So when you click on that, you're just going to click login, and you can see right there, and then you are logged in. But I am not working at the moment here. Hold on. Give me a second. Because normally I log in with Google. So we're going to log in with Google. That's why. So you can log in with any other feature that you like. My email address is public, so I wasn't afraid to show you guys that screen. Now, once you're logged in, you'll have your little initials up here at the top right, so you know that you're properly logged in. Now, if you're wanting to download a Skybox, it's as simple as typing in Skybox. You just type in Skybox, and now we are about to see all the assets capable from the Unity Asset Store. Now, the cool thing about the fact that how Unity Asset Store is connected directly to the Unity program. Now, once you've taken my course, or once you've linked your Unity account to your Unity program, you'll then see that the Unity Asset Store is communicating through the packages, which we're going to show how to import here in just a little bit. But first, what we want to do is use the website to try to find the skyboxes that we might like. Now, you can notice that not everything is free, but there's a lot of free stuff. Unity, in my personal opinion, is the first place to go to get some nice assets, but there's way other places that you can go as well, which I'm going to go over a couple different options, but I'd like to start you off with the Unity Asset Store. Now, what I recommend is you just start by price and just click on the free button. So we're going to just sort by free, and you can see we have a whole consortium of skyboxes. And believe it or not, it's as simple as drag and drop once we've added these to our assets. So for demonstration purposes, let's see if I have an asset that I haven't yet taken myself. So Skybox AI blockade. Oh, that's cool. This one has, we're going to actually go over this in just a minute. But let's say we have Fantasy Skybox free. So we're going to click on that. And as you pull it down, you're just going to see an add to my assets button. So when I click add to my assets and accept, and now it is in my Unity asset packages. It's as simple as that to get it into your packages. Now we're going to go into all of that in VR or in Unity here in just a few minutes. But while I still have my browsers pulled up, I wanted to show you the other sources that you can go to get a Skybox. Now, Envato Elements, so it's elements.envato.com. It does cost $16.50 a month, but this allows you to have a licensed skyboxes, audio, sound effects. There's so many different things you can do with this website that give you commercial legal use to use as long as you're paying this monthly fee. I've just been a very big fan of using this product. A lot of things you can do is get game sounds interface if you're looking for the sound of crickets, or you're looking for wind or rain, or it's a great place to come and get actual good sound quality without doing anything illegal by pulling an MP3 file from a YouTube or something like that. This will actually allow you to have a licensed capability so that you're not, breaking any copyright law. I don't ever advocate to break any international copyright laws, right? Now, in here, if I'm specifically looking for a specific kind of, I would use Envato normally for a real city. So if I'm looking for, I live in Dallas, Texas, so I'm going to say Dallas, and I like to use the term panorama. So if I type in Dallas panorama, you can then see I have some panorama photos here. Now, as long as it's a panorama image, I can download these images and use them as a skybox in our world. And so it's one cool way to get a more realistic view of the environment that you're in. And these you can download without paying, but it's going to have the watermark. And nobody likes seeing a watermark in a skybox. So definitely recommend paying for that license. I'm going to go ahead and close a couple browsers in the meantime. So let's close that one, and we can close that one. All right. And so this is just a great place to come and get some graphics, content, audio, sounds. And it's elements.envato.com. Now, my ultimate favorite one, is called skybox.blockadelabs.com. So you can see up here at the top, here, it's skybox.blockadelabs.com. Now this is AI Skyboxes, which if you didn't notice at the Unity Asset Store, there was an option to subscribe and be able to get it directly installed into your Unity project. But this is a free way to do it, which is going to give you a watermark. Now, the watermark that you get, all that means is that it's going to have, there's this little watermark up at the top. It really doesn't look as bad as if you're looking around in a 360 without looking directly up. But if you want to remove that specific watermark, then I would recommend going ahead and paying for the subscription. But these are also subscription-based items, and not everything in Unity is free, but there is so much you could do for free. So in here, this is the coolest part, is that I can just tell this, it's an AI skybox, so I can tell it specifically what I'm looking for. I can explore first. So under the explore, you can see that it has different features, different options of types of skyboxes that are really immersive and really engaging. Some are there's realistic, there's I guess paint, this one here on the bottom left, that aren't so realistic, but they're still very vivid, while others are super immersive or looking really realistic. So it just depends on what you're looking for, and once you've detailed which kind you're kind of going for, then you can customize it specifically for your liking just by simply writing in a chat to AI. Now, this one is called Model 3, and it looks like a very futuristic city. So we're going to go ahead and click on this super futuristic style city. So now I can modify it and say, make it something different. So add flying cars. We'll say add flying cars, right? And then I just hit the generate or return button, and now let's see if it adds it in there. I'm not sure if it's going to. It just some AI is limited than others, but let's give that a second. So since we are waiting for this process to take effect, I've already done this for you, so I am not going to go through the wait period of it to download the entire image. But once you do download it, it's going to bring it in as a panoramic image. So here it comes. It looks like it's generating, actually. I'm curious if this is going to work. All right. So I said to add flying cars. I don't really see flying cars, but this is definitely cool. So I'm just not gonna, I can modify the AI until I get it the way I like it, but for specific purposes, for the point of the length of the class, I'm gonna go ahead and just simply hit the download button. Now, my personal recommendation, there are cube maps and other kinds of ways of doing this, but my favorite all time is just to get a PNG file of it, because it's gonna come in as a panorama. So let's just download it as a PNG file, and you'll see it is doing its download process here. So it looks like I'm going to actually have time to be able to wait for this to download and show you how to import it into our Unity project. Now, while that is downloading, okay, yeah, I don't need that. Just remember, you can always come and refer back to the VR chat documentation, and we'll go ahead and close that. And this is a list of all of our worlds. And with that, there it is. It's coming in right here, waiting for the download. There it is. All right, so I'm just clicking on the folder, and by clicking on the folder, you can see I've got the, it's called the Utopian render right over here. So all I am going to do is drag and drop that file into my assets. So what I'm going to do is go ahead, and we are going to dive into Unity, folks. So we're going to go ahead and put up our Unity project, and from my other screen here, I am going to drag and drop that texture file. Now, this is technically considered a texture file, and I go over texture files and materials and things like that over time to show you how that works. So this one is called Utopian, and it's right over here. Now, the one thing that you're going to want to do is disable the generate bitmaps on that texture file. So we're going to just simply disable generate bitmaps, and we're going to go ahead and apply. Now, the reason I did that is because it's going to get rid of that line. Now, I've already brought in a skybox, but for this specific purpose, I'm going to show you how to create a new material. Now, the new material, what we're going to do is simply anywhere in a blank spot in our assets, what we're going to do is we are going to right click right here and go create, and we are going to create a material. Create material, and we're going to go ahead and call this something immediately. Right now it's defaulted to new material 1 because I didn't rename the other one that I brought in earlier before I started the class. So we're going to call this Utopian Skybox. So Utopian Skybox. So Utopian Skybox, now we have a name, and now it just looks like a default material right there. Now, this is our inspector up here on the top. And on our inspector, what we're going to do is we are going to take the shader, which is defaulted to standard, and we are going to drop that down to the skybox option. And for this specific purpose, because we brought it in as a panorama and not a cube or anything like that, we're going to use the panorama option. Now that we have the panorama option, you'll see that it changed from a circle and moved to a square down here in our assets, and it's still gray, right? And that's because it's missing a texture file, because what we need to do is take the texture file that we downloaded and dragged into our assets and bring that up next to the texture as a texture file. And you'll see that it updated also right here. It's no longer gray. And so our Utopian Skybox is now right here, and we can simply drag and drop this material because a skybox is essentially a material. So we're going to grab this material and drag and drop it into the air, and you will see there is our beautiful, beautiful skybox. And it's really is that simple to do. Now, the one thing that you can do with this is sometimes you want to rotate it. Now, first of all, notice that there is no line in this skybox, and up on top, right up there, that's where you can see the Blockade Labs logo. So, or sometimes, it's okay to use this. It's not the end of the world to have that little circle up there. But if you do want to pay for it, I recommend paying for it to get that image off. And there's other things you can do by making, if it's inside of a building that has a roof and the people aren't allowed to leave the building and it's glass to look out. There's so many things you can do to avoid people from seeing that specific thing. But we also have what's called exposure and rotation. My favorite one to use is rotation, because sometimes you want that skybox to move around, and you can see that everything works from 0 to 360 degrees. Now, if you've ever taken one of my classes before, you know that I'm very big on the XYZ coordinates, grids, scale, position, location. In Unity, everything, there's a north and a south, there's a left and a right, there's an up and a down. We're just re-mimicking real three-dimensional life into a virtual space. So real literal items that we can pick up, they go up and down, left and right, forwards and backwards, just like in real life, just we're dealing with it in virtual reality. And in virtual reality, what we do is we rotate things just like on a compass. So 0 degrees is north, 180 degrees is south. You've got your east is 90 degrees and west is 270 degrees. So if you can think in 90 degrees, now you know north, south, east, and west does exist in virtual reality. And there's an up and a down and a left and a right. But if you want to rotate something 180 degrees, that means that you just want to look directly behind yourself, right? And so all I would do is come right over here, and you can see that there's a slider. And if you're specifically looking to go directly backwards, sometimes it's better to specifically type in the number 180. A lot of people don't understand the terms of the 0 to 360, and it makes a whole lot more sense once you look at a compass and realize you're dealing with a compass in VR. It's the same concept. And then there's exposure and all that. I recommend, if you're just starting off, not to go too much in detail. But that is one cool way to be able to bring in a nice AI, artificial intelligence skybox. And it's as simple as dragging and dropping into the sky. So this old one that I have right here, this new material, I can just drag it out into the sky and override it. And now I have this very nice, cool looking skybox. Now this one was a like a little mountainous, and you've got the Aurora Borealis. That looks really cool. But I think, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and go back to this specific one right here and just leave it just like that. Now, once you've dragged that in, the one thing I highly recommend that you do once you start modifying the default world scene is name your scene. So you can see right up here, it's called VRC Default World Scene. So we're going to click on these 3 dots, and we're going to save as. 3 dots, save as, and we're going to call this Utopia. All right, so it's Utopia, just Utopia, and hit save, and you're going to see that it created this little white box down here, which is the Unity logo. And this white box right over here is to show you that this is now a scene that we can save. And if we ever make modifications and we want to make a backup of another scene, it's as simple as changing something in the scene. So we could just click back here on our skybox here from the material, rotate it just a little bit, and then click these 3 dots again, and save this one as, and we will call it Utopian 1.1. So now we have a different scened version. So this is how you can create a scene backup. So now if I were to bring this scene in or that scene in, they would have those different states. You're saving and storing different states of the scene, but you still need all of the packages involved. Now, the other thing is how to bring in the things that we brought in from the Unity Asset Store, right? So in order to bring in a package from the Unity Asset Store, once you've linked your Unity account to your Unity software, which it should do pretty much just by step, click nexting, we're going to go up here to the Window button, up to Window and Package Manager. Window and Package Manager is going to bring up a list of all of your Unity assets. You're going to want to make sure that you're on the Packages, My Assets, and you can just simply scroll through and find the Skybox that you had purchased from the Unity Asset Store. And once you've found it, you will then download it and import it, and then you'll hit an import button one more time. I do not remember the name of the Skybox that we were working with, but this one here is Skybox Series Free. So what we're going to do is go ahead and hit import, since I've already downloaded it before. So it's as simple as waiting for the Skybox to download. And we're going to give that a second. There we go. So I had already brought it in, so it didn't bring up. But otherwise, normally it will give you an import button. So that is how you guys make a Skybox. Now, we could create a different Skybox of a different color. We could do all sorts of stuff. But you'll see that once you've brought in those Unity assets, I've already brought some in. I'm going to click right here on this 8K Skybox. And you'll see it comes with some example scenes. We're not going to use the example scenes. We're going to go with the materials. And so with the materials, we have Sky 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So these are some of the Skyboxes that you can bring in just by simply dragging and dropping them out into the world. And that's how you can change them. So this one's a cool, that one's kind of cool. And then you can bring that one, and let's go back to the asset store. What other assets? I also got the Nebula here. We can bring those guys out there. Ooh, that's a cool one, right? And so it's as simple as just dragging and dropping them from the Unity Asset Store from the asset package. But we're going to go back to this one right here. And while we're in there and we have the name of our file, we are going to make sure that we are logged in to the VRChat website. So to log in, you're going to go to VRChat SDK, show control panel, and under the control panel, make sure you've authenticated with your VRChat account. You're going to go to Builder, and under Builder, we could take and capture a scene image, or you can upload your own file. And I called this one Skybox Demo. And the VRC world is by default the spawn point. So you want to make sure that that VRC world default scene is above the floor, right? So I like to normally pull mine up just a little bit, just so that I kind of drop into the world and don't just crash into it. Now I'm also going to do something a little bit different, and we're going to go and let's see. I don't know if I have so I'm not a big fan of using the VRChat default floor. So I'm going to change that floor for the next update, but I'm going to go ahead and just simply upload this world. So now that I've given it a name and a description, it has a thumbnail image, or I could capture from scene, but I'm going to just use that logo for now. All you have to do is click Online Publishing at the very bottom, and we're going to do build and upload. So if you're in Windows mode, do not use the build and test. There are reasons to use it, but for this reason, we're just going to do build and upload. And then once it finishes uploading, you'll switch it from Windows to Android and upload. So that's it for you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it very much. And if you have any questions or anything, I'm going to be right in there with you guys. So thanks for watching. And again, thank you, CityGirl. Crypto City, it's been amazing. Thank you, guys.
So that was great. Thank you so much.
You're
Hopefully
very welcome.
all of you in the audience, got some tips out of that to help you with your worlds that you might be trying to upload into.
Yeah.
Now, anybody have any questions for Ryan?
Ask away. Sorry if you probably got my song memorized by now. I apologize.
I was like, oh, it's like Baby Shark. Okay, come right out to the square right here. See the little square? That's
Okay.
Amplify Zone. Yep, right there.
Yeah, well, I have a Discord. You can, it's linked in my bio, so you can find it on my VR chat bio. And I teach Unity 101 for entry level hobbyists. I take you from installing the software all the way to working with a group doing a movie themed world. It's a 6-week course. We meet every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. So it's twice a week. It's an hour and a half each class. So it's a total of 3 hours a week, which comes out to about 18 hours of lessons. I'm confident I can take anybody that doesn't even know how to use a computer to be able to install their first world. All last year, I was able to, every 6 weeks, I was training a class of about 10 people. At one point, our Back to the Future class, though, had 20 people, which was really cool. But I teach a group class those Tuesdays and Saturdays, but I also do a private tutor session where for an extra fee and be part of the group, I give you 1 hour a week on private one-on-one sessions. So yeah, love to have you. And yeah, you're welcome. And Discord is the best way to reach me. So you can reach me on my Discord, and that Discord link should be in my bio. You're welcome.
Thank you for the question. Does anyone else have a question? I mean, I thought it was very straightforward. I love the way you did the video. It was, it was click here. This is what's going to happen. And it was
Thank
great.
you.
Very well done. We are going to put this whole video up, as an actual individual link so you guys can, sit there and go step by step, pause it if you need to as you're trying to walk through and do all of this.
And also, I just uploaded the world this morning. So the world that you see is a public. I posted it to Community Labs. It's called Skybox Tutorial. And as soon as you log in, it's playing that same YouTube video, and it's in the Skybox world. And then I put in, if anybody's familiar with Sam Wise, he made these rockets. And so the Sam Wise rockets are in there, so you can fly around while you're watching the video and see the Skybox. I did change the resolution for PC. So PC is a higher resolution, so it's a much clearer Skybox, and for Android it's just slightly lower.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. That's really cool to be able to go and see what we just created. That's wonderful.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome. So thank you for having me. I'm just so honored.
Of course.
I just blown away. I appreciate it so much.
I think anybody in here who's interested in learning a little bit more, feel free to reach out. Like you said, there's his Instagram. In his Instagram bio, you can get to the Discord server link from there so people can connect with you. And if anybody, for some reason can't find him, let me know. I can always connect the two of you so that you can get more info. And we appreciate you coming on. It was great having you here. And
it was an honor.
Oh, thank you. And next week, we are going to have Bitcoin Fairy. She's going to come on and tell us about her journey. She's, doing a lot of things with music in here as well. We've found that, over the last, year or two, there's been a lot more musical stuff going on here in VR, but in different capacities. Not everyone's just, getting up to sing on stage or DJ on stage. A lot of people are doing different types of things, video production. So that's going to be an interesting episode, and we will have her down next Monday night. In the meantime, thank you all for being here tonight, and thank you again, Ryan, and everyone.
It was a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. We'll see you all next Monday night, 9 p.m. EST in VRC. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
There we go.
Yay. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Of course.
Yes.
Thank you. It was great.
Question.